Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along. Which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ziprecruiter.com/zip. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ziprecruiter.com/zip. That's ziprecruiter.com/zip. ziprecruiter.com/zip.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever think about switching insurance companies to see if you could save some cash? Progressive makes it easy. Just drop in some details about yourself and see if you're eligible to save money when you bundle your home and auto policies. The process only takes minutes, and it could mean hundreds more in your pocket. Visit Progressive.com after this episode to see if you could save. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states.
Summer is here, which means we all want to look and feel our best. A GLP-1 may be right for you. Visit OrderlyMeds.com to learn more about which GLP-1 you could be eligible for. Getting started is fast, easy, and happens virtually through telemedicine from licensed professionals. Check it out for yourself. Go to OrderlyMeds.com/podcast. That's OrderlyMeds.com/podcast. Taking care of yourself feels great. Compounded medications are not FDA approved. Eligibility required and determined by a licensed provider. Individual results may vary. See website for details.
Welcome to Orioles on the Verge. This is Zach Spedden, joined as always by Bob Phil, and our co-host Nick Stevens is out this week. We're very happy to be joined by former Oriole and current Florida Complex League staff assistant Terrin Vavra will be joining us today to talk about his transition to coaching and his time with the Orioles. All of that is coming up on this episode, which is brought to you by IQ Bar, exclusive snack, hydration, and coffee sponsor. IQ Bar protein bars, IQ Mix hydration mixes, and IQ Gel mushroom coffees are delicious, low-sugar, brain and body fuel you need to win your day. The Ultimate Sampler Pack is a great way to try all IQ Bar products and flavors. You get 9 IQ Bars, 8 IQ Mix sticks, and 4 IQ Joe sticks. All IQ Bar products are clean label certified, entirely free from gluten, dairy, soy, GMOs, and artificial ingredients. All IQ Bar products are packed with clean, delicious ingredients to keep you physically and mentally fit, like magnesium, lion's mane, and more. With over 20,000 5-star reviews and counting, more people than ever are fueling their busy lifestyles with IQ Bar's brain and body boosting bars, hydration mixes, and mushroom coffees. Their Ultimate Sampler Pack includes all 3. IQ Bar has become part of my daily routines, whether it's starting my morning with IQ Gel, grabbing an IQ Bar or IQ Mix to refuel, rehydrate after a hard workout. And right now, IQ Bar is offering our special podcast listeners 20% off all IQ Bar products, including the Ultimate Sampler Pack, plus free shipping. To get your 20% off, text MLB to 64,000. Text MLB to 64,000. That's MLB to 64,000. Message and data rates may apply. See terms for details. You might remember our next guest from his days with the Orioles, spent some time with the team in the past 2022, 2023, and 2025 seasons. After coming over in a trade with the Colorado Rockies in 2020 in exchange for reliever Michael Givens, he is now back in the Orioles farm system, this time as a coach in the Florida Complex League as a staff assistant. He is Terrin Vavra. Terrin, how are you?
Yeah, doing good. Thanks for having me, guys.
It's good to have you here, and I just want to start with this question, which is, what led you to decide to move into coaching with the Orioles?
Yeah, I think, coming up as a player, I wasn't necessarily sure I wanted to go into the coaching side of things. I grew up, my dad was a coach and was very familiar with that lifestyle and knew it was pretty challenging. But I feel like the last couple of years of my career kind of really prepared me to, be able to help the next guy that's coming up, the next player. And I was kind of inspired from some good managers and coaches that I've had in my experience, and kind of pushed me to wanting to pursue this and see if I can make a difference on this side of the ball.
As a fan and just analyst, it's really cool to see someone that was in our personal top 10 prospect list make their major league debut, have some success in the majors, and then come back around as a coach. It's just cool to see that circle of life, the circle of baseball life right there.
Yeah, there's definitely, the circle of life is real, and I feel like there is a lot of experiences that happen as a player that, does prepare you to be a coach. So kind of being on this side of it now is exciting, and I'm hoping that it can make a difference.
Going back to when you were first traded to the Orioles as a player, what do you remember about the move at that time, and what did you know about the organization coming in?
Yeah, I mean, it happened in a strange time. It was in COVID, and I had been told by the Rockies that I wasn't going to go to their alternate site, and so they kind of shut me down from. I was obviously, I think all baseball players were kind of trying to stay as ready as they could with the lockdown restrictions and whatnot, but we knew that the spring training 2.0 and the alternate sites were going to be a thing, and I'd been kind of told by them that, hey, we're not going to have you do the alternate site, like you can shut it down, we're waiting to see about a fall camp or something like that. And pretty much a couple of days after that, I get a call. It was like, hey, you got traded to Baltimore, you're going to go to their alternate site, and you're a call away from the big leagues. And it's like, whoa, okay, let's speed it up and let's head out there and hit the ground running. But I remember getting out to the alternate site, and it was, very intimate atmosphere. Obviously, not a lot of guys there. And it was my first taste of the organization, and you have all these restrictions, and you got to know people really well. But at the same point, you weren't going to, going out to eat or getting dinner and playing the game. You were more so showing up, practicing, trying to make new relationships. And so it was a little strange, but thankfully there are some great people there that made that transition as easy as it could have been.
It's a lot of Call of Duty.
Yeah, no, I'm not big into the video games, but there was some time. One of my friends, Tyler Nevin, got traded with me, so there was some time hanging out and watching a lot of baseball at the hotel, and ordering a lot of food in because you couldn't really go anywhere. And yeah, it was good times looking back. At the time, it felt like you're a little stuck.
Yeah, at least we're looking back.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, thinking back on it, that turned out to be a really pivotal time for the Orioles organization. You come in right in the midst of this rebuild, and you're around not just in the organization, but in the big leagues as things start to change and the team starts winning. What was it like to go through that whole process?
Yeah, I mean, I think about that alternate site, as we were just talking about it, and it was various guys, but me, Adley, Gunnar, spending time together, and really seeing the way that the organization wanted to head. Obviously, there are some older guys there that played a huge part in the rebuild as well. But thinking about that time specifically, that's kind of what I was like. Okay, these guys are who they're going to build the franchise around in the years to come, and then going into the next season, and you start adding all these other pieces that obviously have played a huge role to this day, and you just kind of see it working, and you get excited to be a part of it, and you start winning some games. I think in 21 year, our AA team was next level to start the year, and then fast forward a couple of years, and that happened in AAA, and then it happened in the big leagues, and to just be a kind of part of it and see the wins stringing together and the momentum building, it was very exciting.
What would you attribute the success of that group? Was it just pure talent alone? Was it the player development combined with the level of talent that they brought in?
Oh, I think there's a lot of things that played factors. I think the supporting staff of coaches and front office, I think they did a great job facilitating the development, and I think those players, I think we really did a good job of investing into each other and investing into the process. And not only did we get better on the field, but I think we just got really close as a group, and I think that's ultimately great for anytime you're competing and competing alongside of guys for 162 games. Like, the closer you are, the better I think you're going to be.
Now, before we pivot to your current role, we have to ask about your experience in the most recent WBC playing for Team Czechia, which was highlighted by a nice 3-run homer you hit at the Tokyo Dome. How was that? That looked like a ton of fun.
Honestly, that was one of my favorite baseball experiences that I can take with me. The guys there were, a great group to not only, play alongside, but just great people. And, it shows you that baseball is, international and people love it around the world. And it gives you kind of a healthy perspective of, in pro ball, you can kind of get burned out of that feeling, and you kind of can get more into the, oh, this is my job type thing, because you're showing up every day, a lot of bad days, and you kind of just get caught up in it. And to kind of be able to separate and go into an atmosphere where it's literally just playing for the passion of the game, passion of your country, it was something that, I'll cherish forever. And I'm so grateful that I had that opportunity, and, to be able to go and experience Japan on top of it. Like, just can't say enough about that experience.
And you did what you did best, hit home runs, right?
I don't know about home runs, but I'm just happy that I helped contribute to that team. I know that they got some excitement out of that, and I feel like there's some young players that I might have been able to lend a few pieces of insight to that, hopefully they can run with.
Yeah, that's awesome. How did you find yourself on Team Czechnia? Is that mom's side, dad's side?
My dad's side, yeah. Vavra's a very Czech name, and it kind of was in the mentions of the WBC in 2023, but it was very kind of late. Just they had been, and I don't know if they were necessarily a late entry, but once they were in the WBC in 2023, it kind of gained traction too late in the process. And then so going into this WBC, that we were a little bit more proactive, spent some time researching, getting the documents and everything that I needed to just prove the lineage. And then it kind of shaped out and got the approval, and the rest is kind of history at this point.
Love it.
One more question just about your time with the Orioles. Is there a particular moment you look back on during your time with the big league team that is being really special? I'm sure your debut would be one that comes to mind, but anything else that really stood out during your time as a player?
I think that the stretch in 2022 where we were kind of not really expected to be in a playoff push, and we kind of forced ourselves into one. I know we didn't make the playoffs that year, but there was just a different buzz in the stadium, in the locker room, just around the city. It was just really, really cool to be a part of, because at that trade deadline, that was relatively fresh into my call up, and we're selling off some pieces, and it was like, okay, we're not maybe not going for this, or that's the optics of it, or maybe not going for this, and then we just kept kind of rolling. And we've kind of put ourselves into conversation going into, September. And it was just really cool. And just to be able to feel, not only the momentum going with us, but just the confidence, with the young players kind of getting settled in. And it was just a really encouraging time, and so fun looking back. And, even just talking with some of my buddies that were a part of that, it's just like, that's a time where we could kind of see okay, we're here, and we can do this.
Yeah, I feel like that's when fans really started to buy into the whole process of this current front office coming in. Maybe they've fallen out of love a little bit in the last couple months, but yeah, that was when it was like you saw the vision, you saw these young kids coming up, making an impact right away, and then followed up with 101 season. It was probably one of my favorite times as an Orioles fan.
For sure.
In the FCL, we've seen a lot of players really progress this year, particularly on the position player side. But there's been some pitchers that have stood out as well. What players do you think are really coming along in their development right now that fans should have their eyes on?
Yeah, that's a tough question. There's a lot of good players down here, from guys that I've spent time working with on the rehab side to, the guys that this is their first year in Florida and have a lot of baseball in front of them. I think when I first got here, Jaden LeRae was here and kind of plays with his hair on fire. And he's been somebody that's been fun to keep tabs on as he's moved up. But having him here, just seeing how he goes about his business, how he plays the game, plays the game at, a million miles an hour. And I think that's pretty fun to, have in the locker room and on the field. I think another guy that I've been, another two guys really that were really fun for me to work with on the rehab side were Brandon Butterworth and Cobb Hightower. They both kind of should start their return to affiliate action hopefully soon, hopefully tonight. But they were really fun. Just the buzz between the two of them. They work. Obviously, they're good buddies, and they came over together. But they just work hard. They want it, and that's all you can ask for as a coach. And it's really fun to work with them and challenge them, and for them to pick my brain and ask me questions. It shows that they have the curiosity and desire for what it takes to keep getting better.
You mentioned Larray, and yeah, we've had a ton of fun following his ascent, almost similar to Nate George a year ago, but he seems more like a Terrin Vavra type, where he's obviously right-handed hitter, but he's going to make contact, not much swing and miss, can play the premium positions up the middle.
Yeah.
What's the vision there?
Definitely. I mean, I did have conversations with him, about little things of like, hey, like, you're going to have to be able to play all facets of the game. Like, you're going to be able to get a bunt down for a hit. You're going to be able to move runners. You're going to have to, flex and play different positions and be able to change arm angles. And I think he would really embrace that. And I think he's somebody that's going to really run with that role, and somebody that's, he's always going to play with that intent, and he's going to be successful.
Now, a couple other infielders that are intriguing are Wilfred De La Cruz and Jamon Noel. Have you got much eyes on them?
Yeah, we've been working hard with both those guys. Obviously, the talent for both those guys is definitely there. Switch hitting, middle infielders. Wilfred's got all the length in the world, and I think that brings some really exciting ability. Jamon is somebody who just works incredibly hard. He's probably one of the harder working guys I've been around in my time coaching, and that's really encouraging. And I think he's relatively, both of those guys, first year here, working their butts off. That's all you can ask for. There's going to be ups and downs. They're going to go through their trials, and that's just part of it. But as far as the eye test, they both look the part, and they're both working really hard to keep developing, and that's all you can ask for.
Yeah, it's a tough stage in development. I feel like from our perspective, where there's no video feed in the FCL, we can only box score watch. They're obviously super young, a lot of development to go, but yeah, it's not until they really get to Delmarva where we can really sink our teeth in. For
sure. And I think, as far as the transition into the FCL for a lot of these guys that, this is their first year in the States, and, there's a big transition period as far as getting acclimated to the schedule, the lifestyle, and then that continues when they go up to Delmarva. So I think kind of keeping that in mind with everybody as they're, going through their first year in the FCL or going through their first time in Delmarva, like these guys are going through so much. And, on top of that, like language barrier, and there's just so much that comes with your first year in the States, let alone first year in pro ball. And so testament to these guys, because they're very talented, not just on the baseball field. They have to work hard in all aspects to make this lifestyle work.
Yeah, when we talked to Shorebirds guy, I can't remember his name. I don't think he's with the organization anymore, a few years ago. And he mentioned for literally the first time some of these guys are feeling cold weather, grocery shopping on their own. So, yeah.
Yeah, we had a night game the last 2 nights here, and for some of these kids, it's their first time playing under the lights. And, it's just something that we take for granted, and something that I've definitely, taken for granted. And just to see these guys, how excited some of them were, like, hey, we get to play a night game. Like, that's so cool. Like, never got to do this. It just brings that healthy perspective for everybody here to just, really soak it in and be there for these guys and help them get through it, because, like I said, there's going to be trials. There's going to be a lot of new experiences, and people handle them differently. So just trying to stick with them and help them out whenever we can.
Speaking of new experiences, what's next for you? What's your dream of on this coaching front? Are you going to move up the ladder just like you did as a player?
Yeah, I don't know. Obviously, I feel like I am pretty well versed in this game. Playing all 9 positions, I feel like you kind of see the game from all sorts of different angles, and I feel like that can be of help in a lot of different ways. And I don't really, to be honest with you, I don't really know what that looks like. I trust this, this organization, and that's why I was excited to get back with them. And I think that the decision makers here are people that, have a good understanding for what I could bring to the table, and they're going to help me find that spot, whatever it may be. And just trying to kind of take this opportunity this summer to be able to see it from, a whole completely new side of the ball, and learn just as I did as a player, and, what works and what doesn't, and, what I might aspire to do, and what I might not aspire to do. And so I don't really know what it looks like, but I do know that I have really enjoyed doing what I'm doing now, and excited for what the future of this kind of could look like.
That's right. You were emergency catcher too in the majors, weren't you?
Yeah. I caught parts of 3 games in AAA, and actually started out the year in Mexico this year and kind of caught in spring training a little bit. So definitely familiar enough with that. I wouldn't say I'm an expert by any means, but definitely feel like I had to go to catching school and kind of learned all the basic stuff, and I can help out when I need to.
I feel like that's a coach's kid type of thing, right? You can be ready for your dad to put you wherever he needs you.
No, that's right. He was a great role model of kind of just being the utility knife from his time in coaching. He, could kind of do it all. He helped out, on all sides of the ball, and that was, just something I grew up kind of knowing to be the normal. So any way I can help, I'm happy to help. I'm grateful for every experience that has got me here, and just trying to help the next guy.
And last question for me, looking at the current struggles of the major league team the last couple of years, obviously, a bunch of these guys. I'm sure you still play golf with them on occasion. On paper, this team, true talent level to me seems like should be above 500, competing night in and night out for a playoff spot. What do you think of the struggles the last 2 years? I mean, we kind of chalked up last year as a lot of injuries and just one of those years, but it's happening again, unfortunately. I still think that the talent is there, but what do they got to do to push past this?
Yeah, I don't think there's any doubt that the talent's there. Just knowing the guys in the room. Injuries definitely, I don't think people necessarily give full weight to what injuries can do. They can completely kill momentum. They can completely dim a locker room. I think that is a big part of what has kind of happened. And the reality of it is baseball is just an extremely hard game, and there's just so much showing up daily. There's a lot of failure. There's a lot of breaks that can go your way, but I feel like in the last year or two, they just really haven't been going ours. And you can't always lean on that, but I do think that the talent is in the room, is in the building, and when we start getting those pieces in order and on the field, you'll be able to see that. It's just a matter of making that happen and just getting through it.
We'll now head into our last question, which is part of our last segment. Last call brought to you by Checker Spot Brewing, located at 1421 Ridgely Street. Checker Spot is not far from Camden Yards, making it the perfect place for a pre- or post-game drink. But with the Orioles out of town this weekend, it's also a good place to go and watch the game. So they have plenty of TVs to go with good food and drink, plus they're open 7 days a week. Check them out, Checker Spot Brewing, located at 1421 Ridgely Street in South Baltimore. Now, Terrin, we like to ask a variation of this question every player that we have on, and it's just to put you in this situation. You're up at the plate, bottom of the ninth, tight spot, runners on base with the possibility to win the game. Which of your Orioles teammates would you not want on the mound in that spot?
Who would I not want on the mound? So we're on defense?
You're at the plate.
Which one?
So you're having to face
who do I not want to
teammates.
face?
Yeah.
Oh man. I mean, I feel like I gotta say Felix. I mean, I see this guy every day down here in Florida right now. And every time I see him, I'm just in awe of, not only how big he is, but of all the good innings I've seen him throw. So constantly reminded by that. And I feel like, I want to see that guy on the mound for sure. See that splitter. I feel like I might be able to handle the heater, but I don't want to see that splitter.
I thought that might be the answer.
Well, Terrin, it's been great having you on here. Best of luck in your future endeavors with coaching, and thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys. This has been great.
Absolutely. Thanks.